Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome tonight. Thank you for joining me. And tonight I am privileged to be talking to Daniel Walusimbi, who is a renowned person. And I would like him to introduce himself. I'll not say so much about it. So we're going to have a discussion with him tonight about Ugandan football by and large. So you're welcome, ladies and gentlemen, again to this In the Dugout. Hopefully we want to hear from Dan, know him, what he's all about, and the things that he needs to discuss with us. So connecting, I'm trying to connect with Dan. Yep, trying to connect with Dan Walusimbi, but yeah, Dan is online, so hopefully we will be in contact with him, and so we have a nice chat of football. You know, football is a game that
This battery needs scrubbing.
football is a game that has very many perspectives. So we need to. Oh yes, Dan Walusimbi.
Yes,
How are you?
very fine.
Oh,
How are you, my brother?
I'm okay. It's nice to hear
Yeah.
from you, and thank you for joining me in this tonight's program in the dugout.
The pleasure is mine. The
Yeah,
pleasure is mine.
yeah, yeah. Now, Dan, maybe the people watching us would just need to know briefly who is Dan Walusimbi, because everybody has a different perception of who Dan Walusimbi is. So, in your own words, can you tell us who Dan Walusimbi is?
Thank you, Asaf, for hosting me here tonight. It is really a privilege to talk about football. You know, football is my livelihood, and I always get honored whenever I am given a chance to discuss football as a topic. But my name, actually, people say Dan Walusimbi, but I am Daniel Walusimbi. And I am a footballer. I cannot say that I'm a former footballer. I am a footballer. I haven't put in my resignation yet. So I am a I am a footballer. I played for Friends of Football. From Friends of Football, actually, that's when I got a chance to go for Baby Crane and represented Uganda in under 12 in Eritrea, where we won. And I was the top scorer there. Then afterwards, I joined KCCA for half season, where we won the Kakungulu Cup. Then from there, I managed to play as in with Police FC, where I managed to be the top scorer of the league. And also we managed to win the Sekafa. And I was privileged by then actually to go also for professional football in Sweden. Danny came back, had a small stint with AC Villa. Then from there, from what happened, I was forced to join the administration ranks to see that we save our brothers, including myself. So I was privileged to be honored as the president of the Uganda Footballers Association. From there, Of course, Uganda Footballers Association is the body that represents all footballers in Uganda. From there, I was privileged in the struggle to be voted unanimously as the legitimate Fufa president. So currently, I am the legitimate Fufa president. I repeat, I am the legitimate Fufa president. So that is who Daniel is.
Okay, Daniel, maybe when you say you are the legitimate Fufa president, take us through what you see. People will want to know what is this legitimacy. Where is this legitimacy being derived from? By the time you call yourself the legitimate Fufa president, how did you become? Because others will say you are a fraudster, an impositor, and so many things have been thrown at you. Could you please tell the people listening to us out there where do you get and derive this to be the legitimate for president?
Okay, thank you, my brother. First and foremost, before even I explain, I'll take you through all that journey. You should understand that no one can beat sportsmen when it comes to abiding by the laws or rules and regulations. No one can beat sportsmen because we have been conditioned from childhood to abide by the laws. You can't play any game, however talented you might be, whether you're Messi or you're Ronaldinho or you're Zizou. For you to be able to play football or any sport, you must abide by the rules and regulations. So for that, you should know I cannot just call myself a legitimate FIFA president without following the laws or rules and regulations governing that. So for starters, people should understand that there is a well-stipulated legal process of how somebody can become a legitimate FIFA president. But this time, I wouldn't want to go back from inception when we came to know that it was Fufa Limited that was feigning to be Fufa the National Association. But I would state that first, when I was the Uganda Footballers Association president, we tried to advocate for fellow footballers because we understand that the plight of footballers matters most when it comes to the development of the game. When we try to forward those, to advocate for them and their rights, somebody went on the radio, actually I remember CBS, and denounced the Uganda Footballers Association. So we wondered where he got that power to denounce an association which was... Hello? So we wondered. So when we made an investigative survey, we found that Fufa Limited had taken over the activities of Fufa, the National Association. You all know that Fufa Limited cannot be, or a private limited company cannot be a national association. When we came to know and we got all the evidence, we went to the authorities. And by that time, of course, it was Honorable Jessica Lupo as the former Minister of Education and Sports, and the former Minister of Sports, Honorable Bakabulindi, because they are the people who are responsible to enforce the law, and also even NCS. So when we petitioned, we brought out all the illegalities and the proof. At the end of the day, it is Uganda Footballers Association and Uganda Super League took government to court to make the regulations governing sports in Uganda. The act was made, but it was not operationalized. So when we took government to court, government issued an interim order barring government, refusing government to recognize anyone calling himself Fufa or Fufa Limited, not until the regulations were made. So the regulations were made on 4th April 2014. And all national associations, not only football association, but all national associations were supposed to as in within 6 months, to reconstruct themselves within the law. But remember, my friends was Fufa Limited and they had gone to court and proved. And actually on 17th May 2013, they wrote to Honorable Jessica Alupo, the former Minister of Education and Sports, justifying why they were FUFA limited. So Honorable Jessica Alupo just got all that, took it to the Attorney General, and the Attorney General on 27th May 2013 gave a legal opinion saying it was illegal.
Okay, Dan,
So
before you continue, Dan, before you
yes.
continue that, maybe I'll just enlighten the people who are watching us.
Yes.
Did the current people at Mengo, did they submit documents actually accepting that they are actually called FUFA Limited?
Yes, it is here. Actually, let me read it to you. It is here. On actually on there is a court ruling here at the Buganda Road Court. There is a court ruling from the before her worship, Sylvia Nabagala. Actually, my friend who Mbide Dennis Sebugwao had taken the former FUFA Limited to court, as in for fraud. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Dan.
Though they were now is in bed with them, but it took them to court in 2012. And if I may read to you clearly, they went to court, and the only way they could get out of that case, they submitted, and actually they told court that they were FUFA Limited and they were not a national, as in a public body. This is what they had to say in court. In the court of 3 of the charge sheet, the accused persons were charged with the fraud and breach of trust, which is an offense committed by persons employed in the public service. Whereas FUFA is a private company limited by guarantee. A copy of the certificate was the copy of certificate of incorporation was tendered in court and marked D1. Therefore, they are not a public body. There is a court ruling in Buganda Road Court by Sylvia Nabagala. They tendered in that they were FUFA Limited. Then there is a letter signed by my brother Edgar Watson on 17th May 2013, and they wrote to Jessica Alupo, Honorable Jessica Alupo. It is a 9-page letter, and the heading was re-registration of FUFA as a company limited by guarantee. So they gave so many reasons, and actually what I can only read, I can read on page 3. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, genesis of incorporation of FUFA Limited. Look here. Thus, FUFA was registered as a company limited by guarantee and not having a share capital in October 2009, thus becoming a body corporate with capacity to contract, sue or be sued, and own property in its own name as per the regulations of the General Assembly. So this is a letter also written to the Minister, Honorable Jessica Alupo. Actually, my brother signed by Edgar Watson, Sovi, and that is his signature and the stamp, writing to Alupo. And Alupo, after getting this, he went now to the Solicitor General. Sorry, to the Solicitor General of Government for the legal opinion. And the legal opinion was made on May 27, 2013. It is here too, by Joe Muhendo Bisereko. The Solicitor General who wrote on that was Joe Muhendo Bisereko, the Solicitor General. And he was saying that FUFA and FUFA Limited are totally different people. And FUFA Limited was owned by Jesper Ligawesa, he put it here, Yoweri Kyeraggo Kaggwa, and Mr. Lawrence Mulindwa, incorporated on 13th October 2009. And he went ahead to say the incorporation reasons down here. So, about whether they are FUFA Limited or not, even themselves, they went and they wrote to the minister. They went to court. And even lastly, as in during this fracas of registration as FUFA the trust, they wrote to the Minister of Lands, as in asking for the Minister of Lands to cancel our certificate. And this is the reason they gave. that for them they were already a limited company, a corporate, and they already have a corporate status. So they didn't need any other legal status.
Okay.
So apart from it is them. Yes.
Dan, thank you very much for enlightening us about that. Now, what I would want you to also enlighten us about, what does the law of Uganda, the sports law of Uganda, say about that kind of registration? Since it's still because right now, I don't know.
Yes.
Are they still registered as Fufa Limited?
Of course, even you go to their constitution, the constitution they are using, Article 76 is very clear of their constitution. It says that Scoreline Investments Limited will represent Fufa in all matters that need a legal status. But remember, that is actually the doctored constitution of. I have it here, by the way. You know, I love speaking with documents because there I have the moral authority. You know, I love making informed submission, not just making. Article 76 of the constitution, of their constitution, it talks about Scoreline Investments Limited, and this is a stamp of National Council. And somebody may wonder, where did I get this constitution from? Court. After taking them to court, and the stamps of court are here. So it is legit. But it says, Scoreline Investments Limited shall only represent Fufa of the Republic of Uganda. So anyone who is saying that they are not Fufa Limited, as in, actually Fufa Limited is the one which turned it to Scoreline Investments Limited.
Okay, okay.
And
okay, Dan, now, please, could you enlighten our viewers?
Yes.
What does the law, apparently, of Uganda say about that kind of registration?
Yes. Actually, this is the statutory instrument number 38 of 2014. These are the regulations governing sports in Uganda. These here. And please, kindly, when I refer to these documents, these are public documents. I think everybody who is interested can go and acquaint himself with a copy. Or maybe they can contact me and I give them a copy. I furnish them with a copy. But Regulation 4 of the statutory instrument governing sports in Uganda says, the council shall not register a national association which is incorporated as a company. These are the regulations. So, Fufa Limited, now trading as Scoreline Investments Limited, after the enactment of this regulation, it was outlawed. The law does not allow anyone to be a national association, as in a national association to be incorporated as a company. Why? Because no one can own sport in Uganda. Somewhere to be a national association would be running sport in trust or on behalf of the public. Otherwise, when a private company comes, of course, then it will be limited to them because it is private and limited. Like the way it is nowadays. Somebody is making all the regulations or decisions because it does not need to consult anyone because it is his private company.
So, Dan.
So the law, that's what the law says.
So should I say that the body Fufa does not exist anymore? Because if it was discarded for Fufa Limited, then it was discarded for Scoreline Limited. Does the body Fufa exist anymore? And if it does exist, what is going on?
Yes. Exactly. The body Fufa exists. And actually, I am the legitimate president of Fufa, the National Association. Like I said, there was a legal process after the enactment of this statutory instrument. We were given 8 months. All national associations were given 8 months to align themselves with the law. So anyone who was not incorporated, as in all who was incorporated against this regulation, was given 6 months to align with the law. So the process was very clear. We spent 4 months requesting the former minister to make the best practice. And the best practice was to put there a normalization committee to normalize everything, because we wouldn't want football to divide, but rather to unite. But unfortunately, we were told to go and follow the law. Like I told you that no one beats sportsmen when it comes to following the law. So the law was very clear. After enactment of these regulations, there was an implementation on 14th April 2014. Remember, these regulations were enacted on 4th April 2014. So regulations, sorry, as in implementation guidelines to operationalize these regulations were enacted on 14th April 2014 at Nambole. So we were given 6 months for anyone interested to be a national association in Uganda of all sports to apply to National Council for recognition and for regulation. So the deadline was the 4th October 2014. So since they were Fufa Limited and they were outlawed, and remember there was already a court order barring the government and all its agents from recognizing Fufa or Fufa Limited, or even the General Assembly that brought Mr. Moses Magogo into office. There is a court order stopping government from recognizing the General Assembly that brought Magogo into office. I wish I would read that court order for you, if you allow me.
I will. Please go ahead.
Yes, there is a court order here from the Constitutional Court of Uganda, Kampala. And it was the Uganda Super League Limited versus the Attorney General of this country. This is how these regulations came into place. It says, the order, it says, it is hereby ordered that an interim injunctive order doth hereby issued against the respondent, Ministry of Education and Sports, National Council of Sports, and any other organ or their agents or servants, any other national football associations as the only recognized national football associations, unless within the next 30 days from the day hereof, an appropriate and necessary statutory instrument here required by S10 of the National Council of Sports Act is issued and implementation of the same commenced. It went ahead. That one, it was barring government to recognize Fufa Limited or anyone calling himself Fufa. But the second paragraph was very clear. It went ahead. The respondent, Ministry of Education and Sports, National Council of Sports, and any other government organ or their agents or servants are hereby further restrained from recognizing, facilitating, or in any way supporting the ongoing election process of the new office bearers of Fufa Limited, slated for the 31st day of August 2013, until the statutory instrument mentioned in one above shall have come into effect, or until the final disposal of the constitutional petition number 22 of 2013, whichever shall be earlier, or until such other further orders of this court. This was stamped and issued on 28th August 2013. The General Assembly was supposed to be there on the 31st day, August 2013. This is when Mr. Moses Magogo was elected into office. So there is a constitutional court order even stopping government from recognizing given his election process.
So
then, yes.
Then there was a court order, right? Stopping
Yes.
all that action. But
yes.
But the purported people still went ahead and held an election.
Yes.
So take us through that. I mean, there's a court order.
Well,
the court of the land has stopped them from doing this activity, but they actually go ahead and do this activity and return.
And actually, they continue to operate as national association. Now, one thing I can tell you, you know, For them, even conducting the General Assembly wouldn't be an issue because Fufa Limited, also I can open any other company and do my own private business. But this court order was stopping government or even its agents or servants from recognizing them or anyone. So now the question we should ask ourselves is, why were they continued to be recognized despite the constitutional court order? First, somebody would want to know whether this constitutional order was implemented or enforced. The answer is yes. The former Minister of Sports was found in contempt of court over this. He wrote a letter on 8th October 2013 trying to help them get sponsorship. And in his letter, he claimed that he had attended this General Assembly that brought Mr. Moses Magogo into office. USL got that letter, took the Honorable Minister to court for contempt of court order, and he was found guilty in contempt of court. So the court order was there. Then after, when we had taken the minister to parliament, we petitioned parliament, he came back with another letter that he corrected his first letter that it was just a typing error. I have also his letter here, retrieving that he never attended. But after he was being found guilty in court, now everybody would wonder why, after an issuance of a constitutional court order, people would go ahead to abuse the law. One thing you should understand, that the people who are supposed to enforce the law or to protect Ugandans, that is NCS, right?
Yes.
The General Secretary of NCS, he's among the owners or guarantors of Fufa Limited, the one it was regulating. So actually, in simple terms, Aligawesa was regulating himself. So they had their, as in a fraudulent scheme that they were championing. So they couldn't just let it go. So all this is happening, and Fufa Limited, despite being outlawed and even banning government from recognizing it, they continue even to give it money because Aligawesa, the general, the owners of Fufa Limited. That's why it still exists.
Okay, Dan, thank you for that background. Now,
Yes.
last about I think 2 days ago, I heard that actually Premier League clubs had a meeting. 10 of them had a meeting, and in Parliament to discuss about a few things that are really disturbing them. And one of them is, I think, how the league was stopped, the funds from FIFA, all that stuff. And my comment, my view as a person was that they were asking the wrong questions. I mean,
yes.
Since you've taken us through this, do those clubs even have a legitimate? Are they legitimate? Do they have a legitimate question to ask Fufa Limited or Scoreline? Do they have legitimate questions to ask them? Because I mean, yes, enlighten me about that. Because somebody would want to know, these football clubs, do they even have a right to ask these people anything?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, my brother. But if you allow me, because I would want to conclude the other thing, that is, give us only 2 minutes, and we conclude it, because then we go to this.
Yes.
You remember, I did not finish something that after all that was given, we had to follow the law. And one of the things, you had to go and go into the National Gazette, call the association members to come and reconstitute themselves into a legal regime, as the implementation guidelines were saying. I am so happy I have here an advert in the National Gazette, and I am so privileged that the 3 conveners of that General Assembly. It was Uganda Footballers Association, Ex-International Football Association, and Uganda Coaches Association. They convened. We had the elections.
Dan,
I was elected.
Dan, before actually, there's something
Yes.
pertinent. I would ask you about that thing, because somebody had asked me a question
Yes.
about that thing. Those conveners
Yeah.
are known persons.
Yeah.
They're trying to convene for an association that
Okay.
deemed maybe didn't belong to them. Why weren't those people arrested? I mean, those are known people. If they're convening something that didn't belong to them and put in national gathering, don't you think they should have been arrested?
No, first and foremost, yes, but the laws were very clear, and there was a sanctioned legal process everybody had to follow if you wanted to be a national association. And luckily enough, like I told people, that it was not the government's initiative to even enact these regulations. As you have seen, there was a court order taken by some of us who thought that really football deserved much better. So from there, from the Coaches Association, of course, one of the people of the conveners who signed for the coaches is my comrade, Mr. Asaf Mwevas, the one who is hosting me right now. Clear. Now, for the Uganda Footballers Association, we had an administrative officer. Everybody knows him, Daniel Muwanguzi, who has been long serving. And for the ex-internationals, it was signed by the late Hassan Mutasa. Actually, is the founder of the ex-international football association. But still, this was done in accordance with the regulations and also the last Fufa constitution, not Fufa Limited. Then after this process, we went to the Ministry of Lands to get our certificate to be registered as a body corporate. And on 25th September 2014, we got a certificate of incorporation from the Ministry of Lands. This is government. So how can you be arrested? Huh?
Who are the trustees, if I may ask? Who are the trustees?
The trustees were three. We had Mr. Mutasa, the late Mutasa, was the trustee. Then Chris Ranika, also a former actually permanent secretary of Uganda, and a former president, because trust me, need to be somebody with reputation. Then a third one was Professor Musonge. So those are our trustees. After taking everything, going through the process, we got a certificate of incorporation. We tendered it to National Council. And also, we got a recommendation letter from the former Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Jessica Alupo, as the Minister of Education and Sports. On 30 September 2014, he addressed it to Daniel Walusimbi, the Fufa president. Acknowledgement of the Fufa Extraordinary General Assembly. So after we got all this, since the deadline for submission of all national associations, this is very important. The deadline for submission of all national sports associations was 4th October 2014. Anyone who missed that deadline was out. So I can proudly tell you that we were only 2 people who applied for recognition as a national association.
Yes.
We Fufa the Trust.
Yes.
And the Fufa Limited. And the Fufa Limited. Now so somebody would ask me.
There were only 2 people that applied. Fufa the Trust and Fufa Limited.
For the Trust Fufa Limited, somebody would want to know, where do I get that authority to say that it was us, Fufa the Trust and Fufa Limited? After we applied, we knew that the people championing the fraud were the people who were in National Council, with the help of even the former minister, as in Honorable Bakabulindi. I'm telling you, I can authoritatively say that. Then, what we did, because they were engaged, so what we did, we took National Council. A judicial review, this is an application where you force somebody to do their statutory duty. That's what they call it, a judicial review. So we took National Council of Sports to court for a judicial review, High Court at Tweed Towers. And we were alleging them that they didn't want to give us our certificate. So they made an affidavit in reply to court for our application. And they were very clear that there were only 2 people who applied. And they were saying, as Fufa the Trust and the Fufa Limited. But for them, they were still in the vetting process. So in court, National Council put in an affidavit in court saying that they had asked Fufa the Trust and the Fufa Limited. So that meant that if National Council was to give any certificate, it was supposed to give it to actually it had 3 options. To give it to us, Fufa the Trust, give it to Fufa Limited, which is now Scoreline Investments Limited, or not to give both of us. But luckily enough, a certificate of recognition was given out by National Council. And it read Fufa, the National Association. It did not read Scoreline or Fufa Limited. But they got it, and they gave it to Scoreline. And actually, they did it secretively. So from there, you should know that we passed through the whole process. And I have a letter here from National Council itself acknowledging that it got our application. I have on 14th May 2016, after taking them to court, National Council of Sports wrote to us. As you can read here, Mr. Danny Walusimbi, the president of Football Association. This is National Council as in the paper. And they were saying that they wrote to the president, Football Association. And this is what they had to say, that we got your application and you tendered in 3 documents that we have. One of them, a copy of your association constitution. Secondly, a Form A application of the registration. And thirdly, and this is the most important one, a copy of certificate of incorporation as a trustee. So National Council also acknowledged that it had our trustee certificate on its table. And this was signed by Nicholas Munamaji as the General Secretary. So anybody doubting that we didn't pass through the system, that is how I became the legitimate Fufa president. And as we speak right now, you asked me the question, why are we not getting arrested? Actually, because of course they cannot. Using the law, of course, they would be just empowering us. But now it is the other way around. It is us using the law. And that's why we have taken government and all the people responsible to court to protect Ugandans from this fraud. And authoritatively, I can say, victory is just at the corner because we are on the side of the truth. And the truth shall shall set us free. We are only waiting, and we are law-abiding citizens. As I told you, that we have been conditioned from childhood to follow the law. So, my brother, I wanted to put that to bed.
Yes.
So people should know that we are speaking from an authoritative point of view. Now, let's go. I've been even reading on the social media about that meeting. And I know, and I always get perplexed because everybody, has his own understanding or weird way of interpreting issues, just to satisfy their agendas. First and foremost, I have 2 analogies. I think using this parable maybe to help us understand more. First and foremost, you and me know that child negligence is a crime. True?
True.
So just imagine that if you are my father Hmm?
Yes.
My brother,
Yes.
just imagine that if you were my father, and it's true that you neglected me. True.
Yes. Yes.
So, and I was neglected, yes. Can I take my neighbor to court?
No, of course you wouldn't, because the neighbor has nothing to do with that kind of circumstance.
See, because the neighbor, however much I was neglected, but the neighbor is not accountable to me.
Not at all.
However much I have a very good case, but I am taking the wrong person to court. So, it will be inconsequential. Do you agree with me?
I do agree with you.
So, the same. Before you understand that you're taking the wrong person to, or you're making you as somebody, a wrong person to be accountable to what you want to as in to have as a person, or for your case, it is inconsequential. However much you have the right points, you're addressing them to a wrong person. I want everybody to understand that the person entitled or mandated to run football in Uganda, it is Fufa, the National Association. Anything short of that, you're taking a neighbor. Please, acquaint yourself with the copy of the Constitution. It is very clear that in all matters that we need a legal status of Fufa, Scoreline shall represent Fufa. Do you fear to Scoreline? That's why they are going to do whatever they want, because you're not accountable to them. And even Ugandans are not accountable to them. They cannot make them accountable. So it is the same like taking a neighbor to court for in the case of child negligence. That is one.
I had posed the question last week in one of my shows, and I said that you see, when you ask somebody, the Fufa, the people in Mengo are asking a question to people of the football fraternity, and the question is,
Yeah.
I am doing this, what can you do? And
Exactly.
I was telling people that it's because the answer is you can do nothing. Why?
You can
Because
do, they can do nothing.
they're
Yes.
doing whatever they want. So maybe enlighten us about this, because I saw the clubs sitting and they want to meet the Minister of Sports about something. Now, who, like you said, can you report somebody for conducting their own business? Like, honestly, because the people in
You can't.
Mengo, you tell me about that, a bit more about that.
Now, secondly, people should understand there are two things. What is Fufa? We should understand a definition of Fufa, or what Fufa represents. Fufa means a federation of Uganda Football Association. A federation of Uganda Football Association. A federation is like an umbrella. An umbrella of what? Of football association. That's why it's called Federation of Uganda Football Associations. So, who are these football associations that federate to make Fufa? That is the Coaches Association, Uganda Footballers Association, the Referees Association, the Super League division clubs, now you call UPL Association, Big League Association. Now there is Regional Football Association, District Football Associations, Women Associations. It is those associations that come together and federate to make Fufa. I hope I'm very clear on that.
Yes, to me, you're very clear. I hope to the person listening to you, they're getting the clarity, because this is the clarity that
I know.
I also
So
wanted
now,
people to know about.
So now when these associations come together, because we are different associations running different activities within our associations, when we come into we form a general assembly to help us as streamline our activities. From the general assembly, these associations elect from themselves an executive. This executive is meant to run the activities in the best interest of these associations. So I want people to understand that an executive is not Fufa. An executive, actually, their bosses, associations are the bosses of the Fufa executive, because the Fufa is made by the associations, yes, not the other way around.
Maybe just to interject a bit.
Yes.
In this particular incident, I think the executive of whoever those people are the bosses
yes,
of these people.
right, yes.
Yeah, are the bosses of these people. Because by the time people are pleading with them, you know, when somebody makes a decision and it's final, you know, like
exactly,
they stop the league, it's final.
Exactly.
Everything they do is final, and they don't consult them. So what you're saying is the association you're talking about is very different from what we're saying.
And actually, that's why I want to build from there. Then I take you to the decision of these people going to the minister. And you say how awkward and funny it is. Now, because a boss is running to go and report an employee.
I think that is ignorance. I think that's a bit of ignorance.
Exactly. Look here, right now, the situation where it is now, the boss is running to go and report an employee.
Yes.
Because you have a forum where you can go and even get a vote of no confidence and say, you know what, from this day onwards, you're no longer running our businesses. We are going to get somebody else. But now if you run to somebody else, that is very funny. Now this is it. I want people to first understand that is Fufa. And I want people to understand the business they are in. The problem is people are in football, but they don't understand the business that they are in. So now, from there, these associations, every association, people should understand, every association has its own constitution running their business. Every association has a constitution. Then from those constitutions, you make one constitution that would be the ultimate law governing all the activities. Now, in this case, what we call Fufa constitution, but for them, you know, of course, it's core, right? But let us say, okay, Fufa constitution. This Fufa constitution, it is the ultimate law of the game. So, and everybody who is part of this Fufa, he's mentioned here and how they should run their businesses. For example, let us now use the case study of Uganda Premier League. Uganda Premier League, it is here. They are saying every association shall run its activities independently. Every association. And if there is any change in the structure of those associations, it should be initiated by the associations. Then they report. After when you report to the executive just organizes everything, but every final decision about the structure of this association must be determined by the General Assembly. So, right now, Uganda Premier League has a constitution. That one you should know first. They have a constitution. What does it say? Does it say when they have any grievances, they run to the Minister of Education and Sports?
Maybe
No.
it does. Yeah, it probably would. Why were they there?
Now, this is another thing. How does somebody become a national association? As in my brother, you can open up your association. Like also me, I come from Friends of Football, which is an association. People have different associations. But for you to go on the level of being a national association, you must be all inclusive in character and you must be recognized by National Council. So when it comes to decisions of football, being inclusive in all character, the bosses, actually I'll tell you, Mr. Magogo would have involved the bosses, his bosses. Who are the bosses? It is the national associations. Then they sit. Like actually, I'll tell you, as in Magogo is the CEO, but there is a board, which is the General Assembly, which ratifies everything. So if we had had something, you're being entrusted to run football in Uganda, and you're being entrusted by the Parliament of Football in Uganda, which is the General Assembly. Whatever idea you have, you take it to the General Assembly, involve all parties, because in the General Assembly, every member association is represented. You deliberate, then whatever decision you come up with from that General Assembly, then you go and implement. And actually, I'll tell you, the Fufa executive implements the decisions of the General Assembly. Now, my friends, them going to the minister to do what? To come and vote for them, the UPA representative in Fufa, who is Nachuara Chiyiji. You mean the minister is the one who voted hard there? The only problem they are having, the person representing them in the other executive doesn't know anything about them. And they accepted that. So it is the failure of their association to do their mandate, to carry out their mandate, that is causing all these problems. Me, I would say, the problem, it is with the clubs. They lack character. They lack professionalism. They always, everybody is selfish. Interest. Now, it has turned against them. Now they are crying foul. But first and foremost, themselves, they should acquaint themselves with the ultimate law of the game. And they should follow it to dot. It is very clear and it empowers them. Right now, I'll tell you, you can call an extraordinary general assembly and make decisions. But it's like right now, an executive of Fufa, it has become the Fufa itself. It is like it's just helping them. And the money which came, the 500,000 US dollars, they can go into a general assembly and decide how it's going to be spent. And that one will be final.
You see,
But
now, Mr. Dan, because and as somebody who takes time to read so many of these things, if this money is actually at Mengo, and Mengo is Squareline Investments Limited,
yes.
then that company can decide on how best they can use the money. I don't think
yes, they don't even need to consult to them.
Yes, and I think
are they members?
No, I
do
don't
they subscribe to Squareline Investments Limited?
No, I think they don't. That's exactly why I think they cannot even talk about that money, and that's why everybody is saying don't talk about this money.
And by the way, for me, I know I like my brother Engineer Moses Magogo so much, because he has showed all Ugandans that actually, for lack of better word, but that you're stupid and dense. You can't do anything. One mind. He's abusing you in any way they want, and you can't do anything. You're not empowered. And by the way, there is a saying, I don't know who said it, that if you want to hide an understanding from an African, put it in writing.
Yes.
Because, there you are.
Because with all those things, with all those documents that you have, domain, and everybody has had a chance to look at such things like those. Why is it that the enlightened people of football, who are so many, have refused to read those things? What is making people refuse to read documents which are public documents, government documents, court documents, and we all pretend like nothing exists? What is driving there?
There is a difference. My brother, there's a difference between being educated and being learned. They're totally two different things. You have what they went past to school, but you are not learned. Mu Luganda, what we call that, yasoma n'omuyivu banjawulo. Bajjajja ffe baffe baali bayivu naye nga tebaatuuka eno gye twatuuka. And they had the character. Right now, the way I see things, actually, by the way, it hurts me so much that when we come out, they call these things our things. The Walusimbi things. Yeah, Walusimbi, But
Yes.
These documents are very clear. The law is, by the way, I am not football. I am so small as when it comes to football.
Yeah, because all the documents you have are not your documents.
Yes.
Those are public.
Yeah, and they are not meant for me.
Exactly, they're meant for everybody. Why is it the question that the elite people who lead these football clubs, because you have a lawyer at Express as the chairman, you've had another lawyer at URA at one time as the chairman. You have,
character. Let me give you one example. The other time I was on Google Day TV with my brother Chove. I came with my constitutions, and he was also there. But I asked him that, do you have a copy of this constitution? He said that he didn't have a copy. And he said, of course, those people, they hide those documents from them. So they can change these documents the way they want. So right now, if you would ask all these clubs that, as in, on what guides you when you're making your complaints, the only thing would be this constitution, because it's the ultimate law of the game. But I am very sure few of these clubs have this copy of the constitution, because everything they're talking about is here. And I'll tell you today, there is no way Magogo can come out and say that we are going to make, as in we are going to reduce clubs to 12. But because they are not empowered, they don't know. They feel that they are powerless and helpless. But actually, this lies within their docket. And the only person who can pass this, it is only the General Assembly. But right now, for them, because of their ignorance, they take it as a law and a final decision. No, that's why he does not need to consult them when he's getting sponsorship for their clubs. And Magogo has that audacity even to tell them that you cannot even look at the contract that we made for you people. And you think that one also you want to go to the minister to help you on that? The minister, the role of the minister is only one. I want to be very clear on this. The role of the minister is one. Not to help you to come and run your activities. No. The role of the minister and National Council is only to regulate anything concerning the law, policy, your daily activities as associations. You cannot take it to the minister. And actually, I will tell you, then that one will be government interference. But government, when it comes in on the law, the enforcement of the law, even in the FIFA Constitution, it is very clear, Article 17, subsection C, that if any member association loses the status of being a national association, representing association of football in this country, is automatically expelled from FIFA. My brother, you can bear witness. Remember when we were at Emini Pasha, when FIFA came to convince us to enter to Fufa Limited, you remember? To affiliate to Fufa Limited, you remember?
Yes,
Remember,
yes,
I got out the constitution, it was very clear of FIFA. And they accept that. Actually, even I asked them that question, if you remember, that who determines the national association in our country? Remember that white lady Sue?
Yes, yes.
She was very clear that it is the Ugandan authorities. And that's why we told them, go to the Ugandan authorities. If they ever tell you that Fufa Limited is the national association, we shall affiliate. If not, you're wasting time. We are not affiliated to legalities because it is not sustainable. So right now, when it comes to the clubs, I think I would advise them to first go and read the constitution, the ultimate law of football in Uganda. They should empower themselves with their mandate in football and their role they have to play, even running their association, because they have an association, UPL, like the way they went to the minister as an association, not as individual clubs, but as an association. I don't expect that the minister is going to also elect for you a person who is supposed to represent you at the Fufa executive. The person representing you there at the Fufa executive is not a member of your association, but you allowed it to pass. So now what do you expect? What do you expect? Honorable Nachiwala Kiyinji is the one representing you. She cannot even make a football argument. She doesn't belong anywhere. She doesn't have any club. And I wouldn't think you would have any more authority to go and claim anything when even such a small thing of you getting the right representative to the executive, you failed. Unless maybe I'm the one who is who is illogical here. Huh? Maybe I'm the one who is I think maybe I'm the one who has a problem, but to my understanding, how can somebody who is not a member of my association represent my association? So the decisions of taking away your money that you're crying for, Honorable Nachiwala Kiyinji represented you. So they should know.
So all these decisions. Also, all the decisions they are making. All the decisions they're making, their representative is Nachiwala.
Nachiwala Kiyinji.
Who is not a member of the association.
That, yeah, exactly, and I bet that she has ever come back and reported to them.
In what fora? Because they have a fora. They have a fora where they meet.
So that's how our game has degenerated to that level. That people who are in football, they don't understand the business they are in, or they are very selfish and very complacent. Ugandans are very complacent. Those ones who are watching us here, I have quoted all these laws and everything. Trust me, I have referred to all these documents. But because of the level of complacence and mediocrity of Ugandans, Walusimbi, Walusimbi, they take it to be Walusimbi and whoever they have their issues, they leave it there. Or maybe they have
somebody told me one time that you see, you people are right, but you see that the football matters are different. So you can see, and the person who told me that is a very eloquent person, like very eloquent. Exactly. But I will not mention his name on this forum. But if I mention the name to you, you'd be very shocked. You actually fall down and collapse. I mean,
I cannot collapse because I have had the same experience. People that you would think that at least the level where they are, and actually they are in bigger positions. That way they were entrusted with the responsibility to protect Ugandans, but they don't understand these things. And that's why we are right now. Where we are right now, our game has degenerated to the level that everybody can do whatever they want. No one is interested. As long as they are getting something, and I remember politics. You have football politics. Leave them, they're in politics. And I always ask them, define the word politics. Do you understand even the meaning of politics? Politics, it is about it's about the activities that are associated to governance and making of decisions in the group. Right now, it is politics.
You see, the thing, Daniel. I've been in football for a long time, and that is every time I went for a coaching, class, one of the topics they talked about is coaches stay out of politics.
Don't involve yourself.
Yes, and I always found a problem with it. It's like how how do I stay out of politics? Yet it's politics that makes the decisions that affects me.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly. Even right now, they are being affected because of politics.
yes,
Everybody, the
all those
decisions
are
that are
political
being made,
decisions.
and
Yes,
everybody is crying
but guess
foul.
what? And that's why you find that people actually, you know, when you talk about it, Daniel, the empowerment of people. I have asked,
Yes.
like, for example, when I ask some people to speak to me on this show, people fear to speak to me because maybe
Exactly.
you see, but I might have, if I host Daniel as a politician, probably I host somebody else like somebody else. But people fear
Exactly.
even to interact with me. That is how bad football has become. I'm a
No, me
footballing
too.
I'm a non-footballing person. Everybody knows who I
Yes.
am, but a football
Yes.
person would fear to speak to me or to be associated with
Yes.
me because of my view.
Yes.
You know, my view, my personal view.
Exactly.
And you see, so
Now that's how shallow this game has gone.
so Daniel, maybe on a lighter note, as we will begin to wind it up, people would
Yes.
when people say that I was going to host you, of course there are people out there who wanted to know just a few things, like on a lighter moment. And say, like, Daniel, what motivates you, Daniel? Because when you wake up every day,
Yes.
because your motivation, even me, I would want to know that, because I've known you for quite some time. What motivates you every day?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
your motivation is something that people, I need to know about it, and people need to know what motivates you. What is that driving force?
First and foremost, I am proudly a footballer. That is my family. I cannot go from anywhere. I cannot go into any other family. That is my family. All what I am is because of football. So the least I can do is at least to serve it diligently. So I wake up every morning. I have a dream of my family. And that dream is so bold and bright and very clear. That motivates me. I need to make a difference in our own families. And my first family is the football family. All what I am, people know me because of football, nothing else. Not because that maybe I'm so intelligent, maybe I went to school, blah, blah, but because I played football.
Okay.
So I think that really motivates me.
Yes. On the other thing, you've talked about the motivation.
Yes.
What made you start playing football? Because you've told us about your footballing. Because I actually watched the season where you're top scorer. I was watching, and what made you start to play football? What is that thing that motivated you to play football, so that we can know about that?
I used to play, and I am very competitive in nature. I always want to be the best in whatever I do. Trust me. That one, it is my character. It's part of me. So when I chose to play football, there is that beast in me that always wanted me to go and be the best. And that even it's from that beast in me that really, because after experiencing what I experienced when I was playing football, I said, no, football deserves much better. And I had to rise from just playing football on the pitch to really see that dream come to pass. So
Okay.
it is in me, and I will want to. I'm passionate about what I do.
Okay,
Yes.
Daniel.
Mm.
This question I ask most people who come to this show, and I ask them the
Yeah.
question that to give me their best 11 players they have played with or watched, including themselves, including yourself, starting from goal upwards.
Hey, hey, that is a very difficult question on my
Yes, but
side. From
let's
the
go through
player
it,
that
and
I've played with,
yeah, or
maybe.
even watched, even those. But you
Eh?
make sure you include yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we
Of
we go
course, now
number one.
classic number 10.
Yes, okay. We start with number one. Let's go
Number
to
one, I would go for Nyango.
you go for Nyango, okay? And the
Number
right
one, I
back,
would go for Nyango.
the right back. Okay, what formation? By the
Number
way,
two,
what formation are you playing?
hmm?
Because we might just put them on the field. What formation are you playing?
I'm telling you, the best formation I've ever
Yes.
played
Uh,
was 3-4-3.
3-4-3. Okay, in a 3-4-3 formation, give us the
Yes.
best 11. Onyango is already in goal.
Onyango in goal. Okay.
Yes.
Uh,
So
number 2.
the three backs. Give us the 3 backs because you know you're playing in a 4-3. So give me the 3 center backs.
Yes,
Yeah.
the 3 center backs.
Yes.
On my left,
Yes.
there is somebody you never saw them. We played with him in Friends of Football.
Yes.
I have never seen as somebody as gifted and
Yes.
all rounder. Like I was called Tom Sangerwanga.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It was so magical. Trust
Okay,
me.
now
Very
let's go.
magical.
Who is in the center?
Then, center.
Eh.
Wow. Put there Sekaja.
Sekaja, Ibrahim Sekaja. Okay, and then on the right.
Put there Sekaja. Put there Sekaja.
And then on the right.
On the right, because right, I would put who? First wait. On the right, I would put on the right. This is left Tom Sangerwanga. In the midfield, Sekaja.
Yes.
Sekaja. On the right here, I would put on the 3. I would put Apangu.
Okay, that's Moses Apangu. Okay. So now we
Apangu.
Okay.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
On the right. Yes, on the right. I would put Masava.
Masava
on my
Simeon.
right there.
Okay.
Simeon Masava. We used to enjoy that line.
Okay, well, then on the left?
And then on the left.
Yes.
Yes, put there on the left.
Yes.
No, let me go with the middle here.
Okay.
Whatever. Dancing Mubirudan.
Dancing Mubirudan.
Dancing Mubirudan.
Okay.
Yes. In front of him here, I would put I like to the name I've forgotten. Nsumba
Augustine.
in front.
Yes.
Augustine Nsumba.
Yes. Yes.
Then here left.
Yeah.
Left, I would go with that is a very that is very difficult here. Let me go with my Wembo.
Ibrahim.
Okay. Let me go with my Wembo here.
What you're fearing to cause misunderstandings?
No, let me go with my Wembo here.
Okay.
Go now 4-3-3. Then yes. on the right here. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes, on the right here. That is Daniel Walusimbi.
Yourself.
Yes, there. On the left here. I would go with Obua.
David Obua.
One goal, yes. In the front here, I would go with Fimbo Mukasa.
Okay, so that is
to score.
That okay. That is 4-3-3 for Daniel Walusimbi.
No,
so
3-4-3.
4-3-4. Okay, 3-4-3. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, the other question I always ask my visitors,
Yeah.
who who do you think is the greatest Ugandan footballer of all time?
Ha From what I hear, this,
Not from
and
what you hear.
from what I hear and
What
what
is
I've
your
said, that
perspective? What is your perspective? Because I want to get
exactly,
your perspective.
not true. By the way, I'm a very inquisitive person,
Yes.
and I am too argumentative.
Yes.
Eh?
Yes.
And I learned because I always want to make sure that if I'm to make an argument, I always want to make a winning argument.
Yes.
And that's why I read this book, How to Argue and Win Every Time. So, no, there are so many principles that I get from there. So before even I make any submission, I make sure when I'm to make a submission, I need to make a winning submission.
Yes.
Otherwise, there's a time where when you make research, there's a time where you don't even need to make an argument. So you need to make an argument from an uninformed point of view. But the way they talk about Philip Omondi.
Yes.
And I've been asking my own questions.
Yes.
It's not like just hearing only stories. For me, I'm very inquisitive. I say, why are you saying he's the best? What did he do that you think that in football terms? But for us, you can imagine when somebody talks about somebody.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm telling you. They told me even that when he was in a very drunk, I had that, or to be even drunk, but everybody would trust him to go there and do the magic. For me, just having his name and legacy, that it has run from all those generations to my generation where I am today.
Yeah.
I will tell you that also I would go with him as the best
Footballer.
footballing yes.
Yes.
Because from what I have heard and everything, and even when they talk about him, I'll go with him.
Okay. Now, there's this also. Now, this is an argument that where, like, who is the greatest? Yes, since you love arguments, I would ask you this question: who do you think is the greatest footballer of all times in the world, worldwide? Because this has also become a problem. Who is the greatest footballer?
Exactly.
Yes.
I know, and I've had such argument. For me,
yes.
From what I've seen,
yes,
there are two people. I'll give you number 1 and 2.
Yes.
I'll tell you. And I'm going to give you a reason why.
Yes.
First, I'm a big, huge fan of Zinedine Zidane.
Yes.
Because he was that what called a true genius in football. Yes. Not just only talented, people mix the two. They are exceptionally talented players that we have seen, like the likes of Ronaldinho, I'll give an example, Maradona, whatever, individual skills. But a genius goes beyond just individual skills. The awareness, having the whole blueprint of the game when playing. And he can control the game in his own hands by just even playing 1-2 touches without even dribbling. But he can cause the effect and the whole game into his hands.
Yes.
I'll tell you, Zinedine Zidane was a genius. Yes. I saw him was playing. His game was in his mind, not just only his physical ability. One. But I saw Pele and his videos.
Yes.
I saw Pele had both attributes.
Yeah.
I saw Pele having a Zidane in him. He would come in the game, play, just want to. And I saw Zidane. Sorry, I saw Pele with also having the Maradona in him. He was physical. He could run. He could dribble. So for me, number 1, Pele.
Yes.
Because I think Pele could fit in both, as in the modern way of playing football and the older one. But my player that I've seen of all time, still, now Pele, I would give him that number, and now my number 2 is Zinedine Zidane. Because of his genius. Okay. Yes.
Okay. Dan Walusimbi, football. Which team do you support in Uganda? Which team do you
Wow.
you see, I tell people I coach football, and whenever I told them that I supported KCC Football Club, everybody would be like, "Oh, coach is very unprofessional." And I always tell them, "No, you cannot come into
No.
football without having associated with the football club." And it's KCC
But
that brought me to watch football, to like football. So, Walusimbi be done. Which team is that you actually passionately follow?
but you will be shocked
Yes,
that the team that I have always had, and I still have that dream, and it will come to pass.
yes,
Trust me.
yes.
Me, I am proudly a Friends of Football player.
Okay.
Mr. as in Coach Eddie Butindo made me love football.
Yes.
He got me from Chambogo. From that day onward, he sold me a dream. Friends of Football, it was supposed to be a complete football club. Actually, they wanted, actually, the case study was Mathare United.
Yes.
That was the case study in the first place.
Yes.
And Segonga, you know Segonga, the former referee.
Yes.
William Onkemba, Segonga, William Onkemba, Robert Yalolo, the later Kavanda, Chiboneka, Agro Chibenge, Katabira. Those are the people who said Friends of Football. For me, it inspired me. It is one thing that really made me really, really love football. So whenever I would come to watch, of course, so much times I used to watch. I was so much inclined to AC Villa because of Hassan Mobiru and Fimbo Mokata. And of course, I saw Akim Magumba also was very. So I was so much inclined, and I watched so many games of AC Villa. So for these traditional teams, I was so much inclined to Villa.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Dan. So,
Yeah.
Dan, it was nice speaking to you. I hope the people who have had you speak will pick a few things, because you have those documents that you have talked about in the public domain. They are everywhere. So I would encourage the people out there to actually go out there and look at these documents, because if we are talking about a fallacy, because people would think that you're talking about something that is in your mind, like you have created in your mind, and that's why I have endeavored to make sure that you come here on this platform, so that people actually believe that what you have can be found in courts of law, can be found in government, can be found even in parliament, because I remember we tendered the same documents in the parliament of Uganda. So all these documents are everywhere. So I implore the people out there to go out there, look at these documents, and begin to ask the questions, the hard questions, the very difficult questions that we have been asking all these years. So Dan, what's your give us your parting shot, as we call it, a night?
Yes. First, like you have said, I always tell people that when you ask the wrong questions, you always get the wrong answers. But when you start to ask the right questions, you start getting the right answers. And you remember in my every Monday, I have a Football in Captivity series.
Yes.
It was also meant to enlighten our football stakeholders of what is really going on. But I always end those Football in Captivity series with that saying that if you're privileged to know, then taking action becomes your responsibility. If you are privileged to know, then taking action becomes your responsibility. All what we have said, now that you know, if you are in the football fraternity and you're a stakeholder, taking action becomes your responsibility. The UPL clubs, we have told you that it is core and investments to running football in Uganda. All football associations, We have told you there is a constitution. Go and read it. When you come to know that what we are saying is the right thing, or we are right, then take action. For us, we have already taken action. And I would want to end up by telling you, we have not come here to be like crying babies. No. In this world, there are three kinds of people. And there are those who wonder how things happen. We chose to make things happen. You should know that we are in court. Taken court, we have taken government to court. Because they are the people recognizing that they are still recognizing that illegality. Two, my brother has talked about went to parliament. Still, we already petitioned the parliament, and after this COVID-19, as in a motion is going to be passed on the floor of parliament, they already even drafted it. You should know. Three, we have gone to the anti-corruption unit of Nakalema. You're talking about corruption. We have a case there. And actually, they have already assigned it to one of the councils. Yes, we have gone to CID. Lastly, you should know, we are not crying babies. Even FIFA itself, we engage it in court. And it's going on. So, just know those ones who are really interested in football. If you really you are privileged to know, you come to know, you should take action. The only way we can save our game, we need to stand on the side of the truth. And the only way we can have a sustainable development of the game, the only way, when we have a legal regime. Otherwise, right now, these are not sustainable. Time is going to come, and we are going to go back to level one. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to request every football lover. This is our beautiful game. For the betterment of our children or grandchildren to come, please, we need to do the right thing. And the time is now. Now is the time, not tomorrow. Now is the time that we need to act. So I would like to thank my comrade Asaf for this great platform. And actually, I feel that we should even continue, as we should make and let people know that we football people, we have the capacity to articulate issues and understand them. Now is the time. So my fellow Ugandans, as we are in this pandemic period, I would encourage you guys to try to keep safe, take it slow, but at whatever cost, we need to stand on the side of the truth. Those are my words for tonight.
Okay, thank you very much, Dan. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and hope to talk to you very soon. Stay safe and be blessed.
Thank you too.